A dark auction hall in downtown Manhattan. The air smells of old wood and forgotten memories. Dust particles dance in the dim spotlight. A weathered cardboard box is placed carefully on the mahogany table. The auctioneer, a thin man in his 60s with wire-rimmed glasses, adjusts his microphone. The feedback echoes through the nearly empty hall. Lot 247, personal belongings. Origin unknown. Estate sale acquisition. His voice is monotone, bored. He's done this 1,000 times. The box opens with a creak. Inside, yellowed pages brittle with age, tied with a faded red ribbon. The edges are torn, some pages water-stained, filled with flowing handwriting in black ink, now faded to brown. The auction assistant, a young woman with auburn hair, leans closer. Her eyes widen. Her hand trembles as she touches the pages. "My God," she whispers, her voice barely audible. This is her handwriting. I've seen it in archives. This is really her." The auctioneer glances at her, annoyed by the interruption. Handwritten pages allegedly belonging to Marilyn Monroe. Authenticity unconfirmed. No certificate of provenance. Sold as is. Opening bid $100. The camera zooms in slowly on the pages. Ink stains like tears. Real tear marks, the paper wrinkled where water once fell. Words crossed out violently. Sentences rewritten. Margins filled with desperate scribbles. This is raw. This is real. This is pain on paper. Transition effect. The pages flutter, as if caught in wind. 1946, Los Angeles. A drive-in theater on the outskirts of the city, far from the glamour of Hollywood Boulevard. Night has fallen. The screen glows white against the darkness. In an old Ford, dented and rusted, young Norma Jeane sits with a boy. He's maybe 19, crew-cut hair, Letterman jacket. Jimmy. A romantic film plays on the giant screen. Cary Grant and Ingrid Bergman. Black and white images flickering. The boy turns to her nervously. He's been building courage all night. "Norma, can I kiss you?" His voice cracks slightly. Norma looks at him, really looks at him. He has kind eyes, a nice smile. He's been nothing but sweet to her. She nods slowly. The boy leans in, closing his eyes. Their lips meet. It should be magical. It should be her first kiss. A moment she'll remember forever. But Norma's eyes are open, wide open, staring past him at the screen, watching Rita Hayworth in another car, in another movie, watching how she tilts her head just so, how her lips part slightly, how her hand touches the man's face with practiced grace, every movement choreographed perfection. Norma's inner voice emerges, soft and sad, as the page is read aloud by an older, warier version of herself. "My first kiss, I was 17 years old. A boy named Jimmy. He was sweet, genuinely kind. He brought me flowers, cheap ones from the grocery store, but flowers nonetheless. He opened doors, he laughed at my jokes, even when they weren't funny. He was everything a girl should want. But I wasn't there. Not really. My body was in that car, my lips were on his, but my mind was on the screen. Watching Rita Hayworth, studying her like a textbook. How she tilted her head at that precise angle. How she smiled with just the right amount of mystery. How she made every gesture look effortless and perfect. And I thought, should I be kissed like this too? Is this how a star gets kissed? Should I tilt my head more? Should I close my eyes? What's the right performance? The kiss ends. Jimmy pulls back, his face flushed with happiness. His first kiss too, probably. "That was, wow," he breathes. Norma stares at him blankly for a moment, then remembers to smile, to perform. "Yeah," she says softly. "Wow," but inside nothing. Just emptiness and the echo of a question. Did I do it right? The inner voice continues, more bitter now. "I couldn't even live my first kiss. I just performed it. From that moment on, everything was a performance. Every touch, every smile, every word. I was always watching myself from outside, directing myself like a movie. Was that gesture natural enough? Was that laugh too loud? Did I look pretty when I cried? I lost myself before I ever found myself." Norma turns to the car's rearview mirror, adjusting it so she can see her face. The movie light flickers across her features. She fixes her lipstick carefully, studying her reflection. Then she practices, smile, wider, no, softer, more mysterious, head tilt, to the left. No, right is better. Eye flutter, once, twice. She whispers to herself, her breath fogging the mirror. Perfect, now it looks real, now it looks like love. but her eyes remain empty. Jimmy doesn't notice. He's too happy, too young, too innocent to see that the girl beside him is already gone, already lost in the space between reality and performance. 3 years later, a small, shabby apartment in a rundown building on the wrong side of Los Angeles. The wallpaper is peeling, brown water stains on the ceiling. The single window looks out onto a brick wall. Norma opens the door and enters, her key sticking in the broken lock. She's wearing a cheap dress, the hem coming undone. Her shoes have holes in the soles. She's been walking all day, going from casting call to casting call. Tired doesn't begin to describe it. Exhausted, defeated, invisible. She drops her bag on the floor. It's not even a real purse, just a paper bag with her headshots inside. Most of them came back. Not what we're looking for. Too plain. Next, she walks to the kitchenette, barely big enough to turn around in, opens the refrigerator. The light inside flickers, dying. Empty shelves greet her. Just half a bottle of lemonade, the liquid separated and cloudy. A piece of bread, hard as a rock, green mold creeping up one corner. Her stomach growls painfully. She hasn't eaten since yesterday morning. 1 meal a day, sometimes less. She whispers to the empty room, her voice hoarse. Okay, tomorrow. Tomorrow there's a casting at MGM, a real one, not just background work. If they take me, if they just give me a chance. She trails off. She's said this before, many times. The mirror on the wall cracked diagonally, reflects her image. Thin, too thin, collarbones jutting out sharply, cheekbones like blades, arms like sticks, pale, almost translucent skin. But she looks at herself differently now, clinically, like a product, and she sees something. The inner voice returns, reading from another page, the handwriting shakier here, as if written while hungry. I would go hungry on Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, and Thursdays. If I missed Monday's casting, there was no money for food. 10 cents for the bus. 25 cents for new stockings, because you can't go to auditions with runs in your stockings. 50 cents for the photo developer. That left nothing for food. But I discovered something strange, something terrible and wonderful at the same time. Hunger made me beautiful. The word beautiful is underlined 3 times on the page, the pen pressing so hard it nearly tore through. Flashback. A casting office at Paramount. Bright lights, leather couches, important men in suits smoking cigars. Norma enters, wearing her only good dress, washed so many times it's nearly transparent. She's been hungry for 3 days, lightheaded, dizzy, but something is different. The director, a heavy-set man with slicked back hair, looks up from his newspaper. His eyes widen. He actually stands up. Wow, he says, walking around her slowly, appraising. You look so ethereal, otherworldly, almost transparent, like you could float away. He touches her arm, his fingers cold. She flinches, but doesn't pull away. Can't afford to. The camera is going to love you, sweetheart. You've got that fragile thing, that broken bird quality. Very Lillian Gish. Norma doesn't know who Lillian Gish is, but she smiles and nods. She got the part. 3 lines. 2 days of work. $50. Enough to eat for 2 weeks, if she's careful. The inner voice continues. Darker now. The camera loved hunger. It made me look delicate, fragile, ethereal. All those pretty words for starving. My eyes looked bigger because my face was smaller. My bones were elegant. My weakness was vulnerability. That's what Hollywood loved, hungry girls. Desperate girls. Girls who would do anything for a chance, for a callback, for a single line in a picture no one would remember. Because hungry girls don't complain. Hungry girls don't make demands. Hungry girls smile and say thank you and do whatever you ask, because the alternative is going back to that apartment with the broken refrigerator and the moldy bread. The words hungry girls are circled on the page over and over, the ink bleeding through to the page beneath. Back to real time. 1949. The shabby apartment. Norma picks up the piece of bread, carefully cuts away the moldy part with a dull knife, eats the rest slowly, chewing each bite 30 times to make it last longer, to trick her stomach into feeling full. She looks in the cracked mirror again, studies her gaunt face, touches her protruding collarbones, whispers, almost like a prayer. One day I'll be full. One day I'll eat 3 meals a day. I'll have a refrigerator full of food. Steaks and potatoes and fresh fruit and chocolate cake. I'll never be hungry again. I promise myself. I promise. But even as she says it, there's doubt in her eyes. Deep, aching doubt. Because part of her knows the truth. Hollywood will always want her hungry. And she'll stay hungry to stay wanted. 3 years later, everything has changed. A film studio makeup room at 20th Century Fox. The room is enormous, lined with mirrors surrounded by bright white bulbs. The air smells of hairspray and powder and expensive perfume. Norma Jeane, though no one calls her that anymore, sits in the makeup chair, a throne of leather and chrome. She's wearing a white robe. Her hair is in curlers. A team of people surrounds her. Makeup artist, hairstylist, manicurist, assistant, all fussing over her like she's a precious doll. The makeup artist, a woman named Gladys with kind eyes and strong hands, works carefully. Foundation, powder, rouge, eyeshadow in shimmering gold, false eyelashes, each one placed individually with tweezers, lipstick in that perfect red, the color that will become iconic. Today's the big day, honey, Gladys says warmly, blending the makeup with a soft brush. First leading role, you're going to be a star. Norma, no, not Norma anymore, tries to smile, but she's nervous. Terrified, actually. I know, I'm so nervous. What if I'm not good enough? What if they realize they made a mistake? Gladys laughs gently. Don't be silly, you're perfect. Mr. Zanuck himself approved you. Now let's finish your hair. This is the most important part. The hairstylist, a thin man named Pierre with a French accent that might be fake, removes the curlers one by one. Her hair falls in soft waves, platinum blonde so light it's almost white. He combs it carefully, teasing it, spraying it, shaping it into those iconic waves that will be copied by millions. Every strand must be perfect. Every wave must be exactly right. He works for 20 minutes, adjusting, readjusting, stepping back to examine his work like a sculptor with marble. Finally, he steps back with a satisfied smile. Voila, perfection. Gladys nods approvingly. Okay, honey, look. She spins the chair around slowly, so Norma faces the mirror. And Norma, the woman who will now be called Marilyn, freezes, completely still, not breathing, just staring. The person in the mirror is familiar but foreign. She knows that face. It's her face, but it's not her. Perfect makeup, not a single flaw visible. Perfect hair, platinum and gleaming like a halo. Perfect smile painted on in that red lipstick. Perfect everything. But it's not Norma Jeane. Norma Jeane was plain. Mousy brown hair. Freckles, crooked teeth, shy smile. This woman in the mirror is a goddess, untouchable, unreal, a fantasy made flesh. The inner voice returns, and this is the most painful page, the handwriting here almost illegible, as if written while crying. That moment I saw her, Marilyn Monroe, for the first time. In the mirror, looking back at me with those perfect eyes and that perfect smile. And Norma Jeane died. The word died is smeared on the page, the ink running as if tears fell on it while it was still wet. A single tear rolls down Marilyn's face, cutting a path through the perfect makeup, but she's smiling. That smile, that famous smile. Gladys notices the tear and quickly dabs it away with a tissue. Happy tears, honey. Marilyn nods, unable to speak. The inner voice continues, breaking. She died quietly, painlessly. No one noticed. There was no funeral, no mourning, no goodbye, because everyone was looking at Marilyn. Bright, beautiful, perfect Marilyn. The dream, the fantasy, the star, and I was attending my own funeral. Everyone was congratulating me. You look beautiful. You're going to be famous. This is your moment. But I was burying a dead girl. Myself. I was killing Norma Jeane and giving birth to Marilyn Monroe, and no one knew. No one cared. Because Marilyn was what they wanted. Marilyn was valuable. Norma Jeane was just nothing. The page ends with a single word written large and underlined. Nothing. Gladys asks cheerfully, oblivious to the existential death happening before her. Do you like it, honey? Marilyn, because she is Marilyn now, Norma Jeane is gone, smiles wider, that smile that will sell 1 million magazines. Perfect, thank you so much. Her voice is breathy now, higher, softer. The voice, Marilyn's voice. Not Norma's voice, that's gone too. But her eyes, if anyone looked closely, are empty. Completely, utterly empty. Like looking into the windows of an abandoned house. Nobody's home. Nobody will ever be home again. 4 years later, a film set at Fox. Massive. Dozens of crew members rushing around. Enormous cameras on dollies. Lights so bright they generate heat, like the sun. A bedroom set. Luxurious and fake. Silk sheets. Velvet curtains. Everything designed to look romantic and expensive. Marilyn stands in a white negligee, her hair perfect, her makeup perfect, everything perfect. Across from her, an actor, handsome, forgettable, one of many leading men whose names blur together. The director, a nervous man with a clipboard and a megaphone, calls out, "Okay, people. This is the big romantic scene. Marilyn, darling, this is where you finally confess your love. Give me everything. Passion, longing, heartbreak, and action." The actor rushes to Marilyn, grabbing her dramatically. His line, delivered with practiced intensity, "I love you. I've always loved you. Since the first moment I saw you, I knew you were the only woman for me. Say you'll be mine. Say it." Marilyn looks up at him, her eyes glistening with tears that appear on cue. She's learned how to cry on command. Think of something sad. Dead dog, empty refrigerator, Norma Jeane's grave, tears come. Her voice trembles perfectly. "I love you too. I've tried to fight it, tried to deny it, but I can't anymore. I'm yours, forever." They kiss, passionate, romantic. The camera circles them slowly. The music swells. It's perfect, it's beautiful, it's everything cinema should be. The director yells, "Cut, perfect, absolutely perfect. Marilyn, you're a genius. We got it in one take." The crew applauds. The actor grins, pleased with himself. But the second the director says, "Cut," Marilyn steps back from the actor immediately. Her face changes instantly. The warmth vanishes, the love evaporates. Her expression becomes cold, distant, blank, like a light switching off. The actor, still riding the high of the scene, smiles at her. "That was amazing. You're incredible to work with." Marilyn barely looks at him. "Thanks." One word, flat, empty. She turns to her assistant, a nervous young woman hovering nearby. "Do we need to do it again?" The director calls out. "No, darling, it was perfect. Take 5. Marilyn walks off the set without another word. Straight to her dressing room, closes the door, locks it. Finally alone, she sits at the vanity, staring at her reflection in the mirror, the perfect face, the perfect hair, the perfect lie. The inner voice, reading from a page with shaky handwriting, as if written while hands trembled. "I always wanted to cry during love scenes. Real tears, not the fake ones I produced for the camera. Because I had played so many love scenes, hundreds, maybe thousands if you count all the takes and retakes, that I forgot what real love felt like. Or had I ever known? Did I ever feel love, real love, the kind that makes your heart race and your hands shake and your thoughts scatter? Or was it always just this performance, pretending, hitting marks and saying lines and making the right face at the right time? The word real is underlined so many times the paper is nearly torn through. Images flash through her mind. Love scenes from different films, different actors, different sets, but always the same, always performance, always choreographed. Kiss here, touch there, look into his eyes, count to 3, say the line, cry on cue, cut, reset, again, again, again. The inner voice continues, more desperate now. "I was a woman who played love, who performed love, who sold love to millions of people sitting in dark theaters, watching me kiss men I didn't know, didn't like, sometimes didn't even respect. They believed it. The audiences believed I was in love. Critics wrote about my natural romantic chemistry. Natural, as if any of it was natural, as if I felt anything at all. But I didn't. My lips kissed, but my heart didn't feel. My heart had frozen long ago. Maybe it had never thawed. Maybe I was born frozen. Every kiss was a performance. Every I love you was a line from a script. Every touch was choreographed. And I had forgotten what real love felt like. If I ever knew it all." Marilyn picks up a tissue and begins wiping off her lipstick. The perfect red smears across the white tissue like blood. Her hands tremble. Tears begin to flow, real ones this time, not the fake ones she can produce on command. These tears hurt. They burn. She whispers to her reflection, to the ghost of Norma Jeane, to whoever might be listening. I wish just once, just one single time, I could really love someone, Really feel it. Not perform it, not fake it, not pretend, really truly feel love, feel my heart race, feel butterflies, feel nervous and excited and scared and happy all at once, feel alive. Her voice breaks. But it's too late, too late. I've played love so many times that I don't know what's real anymore. I don't know if I'm capable of it. Maybe I broke that part of myself. Maybe Norma Jeane took it with her when she died. Maybe Marilyn Monroe can't love. Maybe she's just empty. She puts her head in her hands and cries silently, her shoulders shaking, careful not to make noise because the walls are thin and someone might hear, and then it would be in the gossip columns tomorrow. Marilyn Monroe crying after love scene, Trouble in Paradise. 4 years later, a luxury hotel room, the Beverly Hills Hotel, pink and perfect and expensive. Night has fallen over Los Angeles. The city glitters below, a million lights, a million dreams, a million lies. Inside the room, darkness. Marilyn lies in the enormous bed, silk sheets tangled around her legs. She can't sleep. Again. It's become a pattern, a curse. Every night the same. She looks at the clock on the nightstand. The red numbers glow in the darkness. 3 a.m., the devil's hour. The hour when the world is quietest and the mind is loudest. She sighs deeply, a sound of exhaustion and despair. Again. Every single night, same time. Like clockwork, she throws back the covers and gets out of bed. Her bare feet touch the cold floor. She's wearing a simple nightgown. Nothing glamorous, nothing Marilyn, just white cotton. She walks to the bathroom, flips on the light. The brightness is shocking, painful. She squints, looks in the mirror, and sees a stranger. No makeup, hair messy, tangled from tossing and turning. Dark circles under her eyes, lines around her mouth. This is real. This is what Marilyn Monroe looks like at 3 a.m., when no one is watching. This is the truth. She leans closer to the mirror, studying her face like it's a puzzle she's trying to solve. Whispers, "Who are you?" Silence, just the hum of the bathroom fan, the drip of the faucet. She asks again, louder, "Who are you? Tell me." Nothing. She touches her face, her fingers tracing the contours. Are you Marilyn, the movie star, the sex symbol, the blonde bombshell? Her voice rises, becoming almost hysterical. Or are you Norma Jeane, the scared little girl, the orphan, the nobody? The mirror doesn't answer. It never does. The inner voice, reading from a page written in the middle of the night, the handwriting wild and uneven. I wake up at 3 a.m. every single night. Like my body has an alarm clock set for the exact moment when I'm most vulnerable, most alone, most myself. And I ask the same question, who are you? Who am I? Marilyn only exists during the day, when there are cameras and lights and people and expectations, when I have to be on, when I have to perform. But at night, she goes to sleep. She doesn't exist in the darkness. She's just a costume I put on in the morning. The hair, the makeup, the voice, the walk, the smile, and take off at night. Like a uniform, like a mask. Marilyn Monroe is a character I play. The most famous character in the world, but still just a character. She touches her face again, pressing harder, as if trying to feel if there's anything real beneath the skin. The inner voice continues. So who am I when Marilyn is asleep? Am I Norma Jeane? Is she still in here somewhere, buried deep, waiting to come back? Or did she really die that day in the makeup chair? Is she gone forever? Or, her voice drops to a whisper. Or am I no one? Maybe neither of them is real. Maybe Norma Jeane was just a rehearsal for Marilyn, and Marilyn is just a performance, and the real me, maybe there is no real me. Maybe I'm just empty space. A ghost, a shadow, nothing. The word nothing appears again on the page, written over and over until it's just a black scribble. She walks out of the bathroom, turning off the light, plunging back into darkness. Goes to the window, pulls back the heavy curtain, looks out at Los Angeles. The city sprawls below, endless lights twinkling like stars fallen to earth. Millions of people down there. Sleeping, dreaming, living their real lives. She presses her hand against the cold glass. Whispers, everyone's sleeping. Normal people with normal lives and normal dreams. But not me. Never me. Only ghosts are awake at 3 a.m. Only lost souls. Only people who don't know who they are. She stands there for a long time, watching the city, feeling completely alone despite being surrounded by millions. Finally she closes the curtain, goes back to bed, lies down, but doesn't sleep, just lies there with her eyes open, staring at the ceiling, waiting for dawn. Because when the sun rises, Marilyn will wake up, the costume will go back on, the performance will begin again, and the question, that terrible unanswerable question, will remain buried for another day. 2 years later, August, Marilyn's house in Brentwood. Small, Spanish style, nothing like what people imagine a movie star's house should be. It's late at night. The house is silent, except for the ticking of a clock. In her bedroom, at a small writing desk by the window, Marilyn sits. She's wearing a simple robe. Her hair is wrapped in a scarf. No makeup, just her, or whoever she is now. In front of her, an old typewriter, black and heavy and real. Next to it, a stack of pages, 5 pages already written. She's typing the 6th, the final one. Her fingers move slowly across the keys, each keystroke deliberate, thoughtful. This isn't a script. This isn't lines someone else wrote. These are her words, her truth. Maybe the only truth she'll ever tell. She reads aloud as she types, her voice soft and sad. No one will ever read these pages. I'll make sure of that. I'll hide them away where no one can find them. Maybe that's good. Maybe it's better this way. Because what I've written here is real, and the real Marilyn Monroe. She pauses, her fingers hovering over the keys. The real Marilyn Monroe is something no one wants to see. They want the fantasy, the dream, the beautiful lie. They don't want the truth. The truth is ugly. The truth is sad. The truth is a woman who doesn't know who she is, who gave up herself to become someone else, who lost everything trying to be perfect. She continues typing, the keys clicking rhythmically in the quiet room. They want to see the light, the smile that sold 1,000 magazines, the laugh that charmed presidents, the white dress blowing in the wind, the glamour, the sex appeal, the fantasy. But they don't want to see the shadows, the pills I take to sleep and the pills I take to wake up, the panic attacks before every scene, the fear that I'm not good enough, will never be good enough, the loneliness of being surrounded by people who only love Marilyn, not me, the pain of not knowing if there even is a me anymore, the tears I cry at 3 a.m. when no one is watching. They don't want to see the real woman because the real woman is broken. She types the final paragraph, her hands shaking now, tears falling onto the keys. But I was always in the shadows, always. The light was only on my surface, on Marilyn, on the performance, on the lie. But inside was always dark. Inside was Norma Jeane, dying slowly, screaming silently, begging to be seen. But no one looked. No one wanted to look, because Norma Jeane wasn't valuable. Norma Jeane wasn't beautiful. Norma Jeane was just a scared little girl who wanted to be loved for who she was, not for who she could pretend to be. And now, I don't know if Norma Jeane even exists anymore. Maybe she's really dead. Maybe I killed her. Maybe I'm just Marilyn now, forever, until I die. And when I die, what will be left? Just photographs, just films, just the fantasy. The real me will die unknown, unseen, unloved. She pulls the final page from the typewriter slowly, holds it up, reads it one more time, then adds it to the stack. 6 pages total, 6 confessions, 6 truths, 6 pieces of her soul laid bare. She picks up the stack carefully, as if they're precious, fragile, places them in a manila envelope, seals it, then picks up a pen and writes on the front in her flowing handwriting, to whoever asks who I really was, if such a person exists, if anyone cares. She sits there for a moment, holding the envelope, wondering if she should burn it, destroy the evidence, keep the fantasy intact. But she doesn't. Instead, she opens the bottom drawer of her desk, places the envelope inside, underneath some old scripts and forgotten letters, closes the drawer, locks it with a small key, puts the key in her jewelry box, whispers to the empty room, maybe one day, someone will find it, someone will read it, someone will understand. Someone will know that I was real, that I existed, that I wasn't just Marilyn Monroe, that I was someone, something, real. She turns off the desk lamp, the room plunges into darkness. She sits there in the dark for a long time, crying silently. Then she stands, walks to her bed, lies down, stares at the ceiling, waiting For what she doesn't know, maybe for dawn, maybe for the end, maybe for someone to finally see her. Transition. Back to 1985, the auction hall. The auctioneer continues, oblivious to the weight of what he's selling. Lot 247. Opening bid $100. Do I hear 100? A hand goes up in the back. An elderly man in a tweed jacket. 100. Another hand. A woman in pearls. 200. The bidding continues. 250. 300. 350. 400. 450. 500. The auctioneer's voice rises with excitement. Finally, something worth selling. $500. Do I hear 550? Silence. 500 going once, 500 going twice. He raises his gavel. Sold for $500 to bidder number 42. The gavel comes down with a sharp crack. The man in the tweed jacket stands. He's in his 70s, white hair, thick glasses, a collector. He's been collecting Hollywood memorabilia for 40 years. He approaches the table, pays in cash, counting out $500 bills, takes the box carefully, cradles it like a baby, leaves the auction hall. Outside, the sun is setting. He gets into his car, an old Cadillac, places the box gently on the passenger seat, drives home through the Los Angeles traffic. His house is in Pasadena, a large Victorian filled with Hollywood history, posters, props, costumes, photographs, a museum of dreams. He carries the box inside, goes to his study, opens his safe, a large antique thing built into the wall. Inside, other treasures. Judy Garland's shoes, Humphrey Bogart's hat, James Dean's jacket. He places the box inside, closes the safe, spins the lock, and walks away. He never opens the box, never reads the pages. They sit in the darkness of the safe, unread, unknown, forgotten, just like Marilyn wanted, just like Norma Jeane feared. The narrator's voice returns, solemn and final. The pages sold for $500. $500 for a woman's soul, for her truth, for her pain. The collector locked them in a safe with his other treasures. Marilyn's words, like Marilyn herself, remained hidden forever, locked away, protected, or imprisoned. No one ever read them. No one ever knew what she really wanted to say. 6 pages, 6 confessions, 6 truths. The first kiss she couldn't feel. The hunger that made her beautiful. The day Norma Jeane died in front of a mirror. The love scenes that made her want to cry. The 3 a.m. question she could never answer. The final page written in shadows and tears. All of it remained in darkness, buried, forgotten. Maybe, that's how it should have been. Because some truths are too heavy to bear. Some words are too painful to hear. Some secrets are meant to stay secret. Marilyn Monroe died in 1962, but Norma Jeane died long before, and no one ever knew. No one ever cared. Because the world didn't want the truth. The world wanted the fantasy, and the fantasy is all that remains. The screen fades to black slowly. Final text appears in white, simple, stark. Some truths are meant to stay hidden. The text fades. Complete darkness. Silence. Then very faintly, the sound of a typewriter. Click, click, click. Then nothing. The end.